don't know.
Beep.
What are we talking about?
This is really it's similar to the residence town hall, but it's for students and it's for to talk about student issues.
Okay.
Student there. Don't have any money.
No, I'm not talking about that.
But let me say that I know that we, Bill McMillan's office had contacted, sent out an email that Senator Sherrod Brown is going to be on campus next week on the 30th from 10:30 to 11:30. And they really want to try to get students out. It's going to be in the student union, actually 2592. And it's going to be a panel format. They're going to have like 4 different panelists or groups of panelists. And the focus is on brain drain from Ohio.
Okay.
They're going to talk about financial aid and financial aid reform. It's going to be part of it. And so we really want to try to get a large student audience out here. One of the things that we're going to be doing, one of the things we're going to do is talk to the faculty members of some of the larger courses like political science courses, you know, see if they would bring their classes over for this discussion. So again, if you can help promote that, because if state senators come in, we'd like to have a good showing, because he's chosen the University of Toledo, because we're viewed as leaders in the state, so I think that's important.
I have something.
Yes.
We've been talking, I've been serious about the retention rate for African American students. It's really low, and I know that part of the reason, like, you go out and you want to get people to go to the university. I mean, statistics say that for the last 4 or 5 semesters, there's a steady increase, and you know what I'm saying. But for African Americans, there's also a steady decrease. And I was wondering, like, I mean, I don't know. As far as I know, you want to tell people about our rec center. You want to tell people about the student union. You want to tell people about the diversity, which is great. But I feel like I don't know if there's a program or anything. But like, is there any certain like way of saying or maybe like making a program where we go to area schools around Ohio and like talking about, I guess, life in college? Do you know what I'm saying? Or is there any implementation? Because they have programs. They had, like, the early college, I was involved in, what is it called? The transition program with what's his name? Man, forgot. Bald dude, short guy, forgot his name. He used to work at Scott Park when the office was in there. Warren Davis, yeah, he used to work. Warren Davis, I mean, that's
not how we describe him.
No, don't tell him I said that too. I forgot his name. Don't tell him I said that. He was one of the first people I encountered on campus. And, it's the only reason I'm here. I didn't think I would be in college. Besides my dad put in his football shoot, but it's fine. But I was wondering if like there could be a program maybe in the next year or 2 that can be implemented and saying like, look, here is college. You know what I'm saying? Because I really feel someone is told maybe in their senior year or whatever. I mean, the OMSS office is helping, and I know there's programs as far as like the BSU, LSU's retention rate is 17%. Latino. That's great. But African Americans retention rate is 50%. The freshmen for this year is horrible. It's a GPA of 1.6 for males and like a 2.1 for females. And exactly, it's not stressed, so you never know that. And it's I'm not talking about, I'm not blaming anybody. You gotta blame yourself because if someone either wants to go party, then and I was one of them. And I just think we need to like do something about that because like each student, allotment, you guys get money for them. So I know if there's not a student who'll come back, it's not money, and I know it all goes back to them. That's what the world, it does make the world go around. So I was wondering, like, if we could, I mean, you can't say it doesn't, but, and I'm not just saying that's what y'all care about, but like, is there like, come on, like, it's real, but there needs, I think, if they're like, not even a mentor program, you don't have to go as far as that, but if someone were to go into school and talk to them about that, if it was Greater Toledo, if it was Ohio, you know what I'm saying, I really feel we could benefit from it. I don't know.
Well, let me address it by saying that, first of all, it's really about more than the money.
Yeah.
I mean, we're really committed to when students are into university graduating to the because part of our mission is improving the human condition. in order to do that, we know education is probably the key to that.
That's why I love Toledo.
But in answer to your question, I think there are multiple answers and multiple parts. So while you talked about the high schools, I think that's clearly an issue, and it's a larger issue for the community that has to be dealt with in terms of planting the seed. Actually, it should start in elementary school. But let me talk a little bit about what we do here at the University of Toledo, because we have many initiatives to help students be successful, not just African American students, but all students. But we do have initiatives that also focus, on African American students, like the African American Initiative Office. But this year we implemented 2 programs focusing on retention for all interim freshmen. One was the Math Works program. And it's an early alert program where students come in, we look at their on-report GPA, we look at their backgrounds in terms of interests, etc. And then based on that, we have a sense of where they, areas they may need help in. And then the 3rd week, we encourage those students, we actually ask them, we try to get them to go in and complete this survey. The purpose of the survey is to look at how they're transitioning to the university, whether it's the classroom, whether they're not understanding the material, whether it's they're having problems getting connected, feeling involved, and feeling connected to the institution, whether they're having problems in the residence halls, roommate issues. And so they fill out this survey and then they send it in, and based on that, we had an intervention that was really a university-wide participation in terms of faculty and staff. If there was a problem in the classroom, we had people from UTLC who actually intervened, brought them in, talked to them about the Learning Enhancement Center, where we have tutors, we have the Writing Center. If there was a problem in the residence halls, actually in the residence halls, every hall director adopted every student who lived in their residence hall and literally knocked on their doors on a weekly basis to check on them if it's a roommate issue, whatever the issue was, to try to intervene and get them know. The other initiative that we had, which was a new initiative this year, was the Rocket to Rocket Mentor initiative. And again, while it wasn't just for African American school students, I would think that there may have been the percentage of African American students, and that was probably greater than 50%. And the whole notion there was to put students with a mentor, somebody who had experience with their experience. So it was just an upper class mentor. And what we found in both of the programs is it's really difficult somehow for students to understand what they need before it's a problem. What we find is students, and I experience this all the time. I go up to students, particularly freshmen. How's it going? Great. How you doing? Great. What do you think your classes are? Well, I'm kind of passing. But that's not great. And if a student says they're kind of passing in the 3rd or 4th week, generally that tells me they're doing poorly. And if they don't seek some services right then, it's December. And that's when we really give students attention. It's December, and it's like, okay, they've not done as well as they expected. Again, this is across the board. So really, the issue or the question is and I think maybe students can help us with this, how do we get students' attention? I mean, early on, you know what I'm saying? It's if we knew the answer to this, we'd all be rich because we could go out and market it, but the point I'm making is we are really committed, and so any ideas, and we involve students. I think that was the most important thing we did this year, was to involve students, because that student-student interaction is just critical.
And that works.
I think that's the best idea. Student-to-student interaction would probably be your best idea, because you could relate to each other on a basis, I think it would make things a lot easier, and you just gotta find people that are willing to volunteer that time and that believe in the same direction that you're going into to put forward and to take that first step. Because I see that every college I go to,
How do you get the students who need the help who would be mentees? How do you get them to accept it or understand the value of it or realize what it can help them do?
Priorities. Yeah. It depends what they're looking for out of their education. Look for students that are driven, motivated, that are into extracurricular activities. Those people tend to be more focused on the objective rather than the end result. Yeah, the more looking towards the result and the objective of it, instead of looking what's going on today You know, because I get what you're saying. It's